How's everybody doing? Don't all answer at once? Amy, I like your matching mask ensemble today.
Yeah, I'm worried if we don't get this worked out, Dave's gonna start singing or something.
Hello?
so
Are we good?
I just might.
You worried what,
Yes.
Commissioner?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good?
Are we
good?
working?
Are we live?
Commissioner, we don't want Mr. Moore or Commissioner Moore singing. so
Yeah, good, I'm glad. I'm
We're
glad you
live.
agreed with
Are
me
we
on that one.
live?
You're live. Nothing
Dawn?
was heard before, so my suggestion would be to restart the meeting. Or at least go.
The
From-
prosecutor feels, go ahead.
My feeling is that they went, what was done was not controversial. They made reasonable efforts to make sure that meeting was open to the public. As soon as we knew that there was a problem, we stopped. In my opinion, we can safely go ahead from the point we
Okay.
ended, but.
All right, you guys are live now.
Was that live at all, Dawn, or it was live? So, okay, so
So they heard.
I'm hearing what he said about there was nothing controversial.
I was supposed to say, welcome back. We had, about 6 minutes into our feed, we had an issue with the sound. And I was going to have Assistant Prosecutor Petticord say a few words, but you already said a few words, so.
Just so, in case everybody didn't hear, in my opinion, the commissioners made reasonable efforts to make sure that the hearing was open to the public and accessible. We started the meeting for a few minutes and did some administrative, non-controversial matters, found out that the sound was not working, and so we stopped and paused the meeting to make sure that people could hear and participate as appropriate. In my opinion, it would be okay to pick up the meeting from the point where we paused and move on from, I think, agenda item number 8.
Yes, we are on agenda item number 8.
That's sufficient, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Petticord. Next item of business is number 8. Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within the jurisdiction of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. At the conclusion of today's board meeting, the commissioners may recess into an executive session to discuss personnel and new hires and various board appointments. The next item of business is number 9. I move to approve the meeting minutes and waive the reading of the minutes of February 10th, 2021. Correct, Teresa?
Correct.
We're going with the 10th. Okay, can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, next item of business is number 10. Madam Clerk, can you please read the resolution into the record?
Enter into a proposal with Chalco Consulting Group for dependent eligibility audit in the amount of $13.32 per audited dependent, around $32,650, and $25 per audited dependent for ongoing verification services.
Okay, move to approve.
Second?
Okay, the motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? Okay, just so everybody knows, Chalco Consulting provides a specialized service of a dependent eligibility audit. Chalco brings the necessary resources to perform the audit well, including bringing us knowledge, experience, staffing, and technology. The firm will provide the sensitivity and respect necessary to maintain positive employee relationships throughout the audit process. They will work with us to customize our approach and work within the guidelines we establish, and they will provide integrated consulting services helping the county to make sound decisions in the future. Okay, all set. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Next item of business is number 11. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution into the record.
Enter an agreement with Basic to manage COBRA for Lorain County to be paid 55 cents per insured employee, $50 per month minimum with a 2% administration fee.
Okay, move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? This is replacing an antiquated system that we were using in our benefits department. It is required by law. COBRA, the Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1985, requires continuation of coverage to be offered to covered employees, their spouses, their former spouses, and their dependent children when group health coverage would otherwise be lost due to specific events. COBRA is the most commonly outsourced HR function. Basic has been in business since 1995, and they have developed practices ensuring consistent and reliable compliance to take the majority of liability off employers. They provide a COBRA participant with a reduction in forms, faxes, duplication of entries, and error prevention. Self-reliance for the participant, giving them access to records, reporting, and correspondence. It's a simple-to-use portal that the participants have access to all data in real time, and participants can elect or down-select their coverage levels online through the portal and use online payment options that include credit, virtual check, and scheduled electronic payments. When we pass the resolution today, it will allow our county administrator to enter into a month-to-month contract commencing on March 1st, 2021. Madam Clerk, please
I
call.
was-
You all set?
yeah,
Are you all
I
set,
I just
Commissioner?
wanted to discuss, so this is a Wisconsin-based company, but they have offices in Ohio? Is
I
that
thought it
correct?
was it Akron?
Yeah, they're based out of Wisconsin, but they have offices in Akron.
Okay.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're not going out of state, so that they have an Akron office. Okay.
And I believe the city of Lorraine is contracting with them
Okay.
as well. Gave us a good referral on them.
Because I know we had that discussion last week about trying to keep the money local or in Ohio, so.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Chalco's also from what, Avon?
I thought they were Westlake.
Oh, I thought they were Avon.
Yeah, I think I'm aware of the company.
Okay.
Okay, very good, Commissioners. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the Office of Sanitary Engineer. The next item of business is number 12. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution into the record.
Amend Resolution 2181 adopted February 3rd, 2011, authorizing sanitary engineer, prosecutor, and administrator to negotiate an amendment with Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District to accept permanent parcel numbers 12000021, 101014, and 12000021, 105033, known as Riverside Trail Subdivision in Columbia Township, into their sanitary sewer system area. This development consists of 69 single-family sublots with adjoining property along the south side of Spray Road and along west side of Columbia Road, State Route 252. Said amendment is to include a portion of the parcel 120030101006 as part of the negotiations with Neosord.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That was a long one. Move to approve.
Second?
Motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? Okay, there was a resolution passed on February 3rd for a sewer district service agreement for Riverside Trail subdivision in Columbia Township. And there was this little small portion of an additional parcel that should have been included on that resolution, and we are amending it now to reflect the addition. All set, guys? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, and now to the engineer's office. The next item of business is number 13. Madam Clerk.
Advertise bids for supply and delivery of galvanized steel beam, bridge, superstructure, and related materials to the site of Smith Road Bridge 0404, Penfield, Spencer Townships. Notice be in the Journal on February 26th and March 5th and open at 2 p.m. on March 25th.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yep.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Next item of business is number 14.
Certify the 2020 County Highway System mileage certification of 269.608 miles.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, next item of business is number 15. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution into the record.
Authorize 25% freeze-thaw load limit reduction on all of Eaton Township roads, the thaw and moisture period in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 5577.07.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Any discussion from the board? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yep.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to reports. County Administrator Tom Williams has advised me ahead of time he will not have a report today. So now we will move on to C, Assistant County Prosecutor, Mr. Dan Petticord.
Just one thing, when we move into executive session, I would ask that we do so and discuss one piece of pending and threatened litigation today, and that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, D, Commissioner's Report. Do you have anything to report, Commissioner Lundy?
Oh, I get to go first. Okay, thank you, Madam
welcome.
President. First, give you an update on the Community Protection Team. The case count continues to go down in Lorain County. However, I want to caution everyone that that doesn't mean we're out of the woods. Also, with the governor changing the curfew, that doesn't mean we're out of the woods. Still have a very contagious virus out there. People still being impacted. Vaccinations, there was a vaccination pod that took place. Over 2,500 seniors were vaccinated in one day. Also, one had to be canceled the other day due to the storm, I think, as we all know. January through April, hopefully by April, the goal is that all those 65 and over in the county will be vaccinated. That's the goal of the health department. 55 million doses across the country have been administered. Plus, remember, we've had close to 100 million that have been exposed to the virus in some way. So that leads to about 43% of the nation's population having, some protection, because after having COVID, you're supposed to have some protection for a while, but you're still required to get the vaccine. So while we're making progress, it's important that everybody keep their guard up. There's a couple items, I guess, I wanted to bring up today for my colleagues to consider. Last night I had a chance to watch one of my favorite movies. It's called Hidden Figures, and it's a movie about African-American women who helped win the space race. And basically it spotlights on, women trying to make advances in a man's world, trying to break through the glass ceiling. At the time, we know how prevalent that was in the 60s, but also deals with racial inequity. And some of the brightest minds, work at NASA today, and some of the brightest minds worked at NASA that day, period of time as well. But there was this one woman, Katherine Johnson. She was the smartest one in the room, no question about it. But she was treated like a second-class citizen because she was black. Systemic racism then, there's still systemic racism today. That was nearly 60 years ago, and we still battle racism today. Today, I want to bring to the floor the opportunity for this board to right a wrong. Eliminating the Race and Equity Alliance was the wrong thing to do. It sends the wrong message about who we are as a county. We're home to the international city. My motion is to restore the Race and Equity Alliance. I'm seeking a second to my motion at this time. It's never too late to do the right thing. That is my motion before you.
Mr. Petticord, can we make a motion in the middle of a commissioner's report?
I don't believe a motion would be appropriate at this point, personally, but.
I agree.
No, we made motions before. When is a motion not appropriate under Robert's rules?
I can only give you my feeling at the moment. I haven't looked at it. I don't know that it's official. It seems to me that motions would not be appropriate during commissioners'
I think
comments,
it's,
but I don't.
Under Robert's rules, you can bring a motion to the floor at any time.
I think it's because we're in the report section.
It's a meeting.
I can only tell you what my gut feeling is. I don't have my Robert's rules with me right now. I haven't looked it up. That's what I can tell you.
Okay.
I would agree with the assistant prosecutor, Mr.
Okay.
Petticord.
I know you're not in the prosecutor's office though, but I respectfully disagree, and so I also think that and let me know, because this is, you let me know then when the appropriate time is to bring it up, because it's going to be brought up again.
I will look it up. But it's
I don't think
difficult.
I don't think nothing personal, but I don't think your assessment is correct. I think I can bring a motion up at any time on this floor.
You may. I'm telling you right now that ask the question being presented to me right here without having time to look at it. That's my initial reaction. I will look it up and have an answer for you by next week.
Okay. And I'll also be asking my colleagues to reconsider their vote on rescinding the pandemic relief grants that were rescinded on January 12th. I understand we've been able to secure federal funds to help with rental assistance. I know that some of those dollars that were allocated, for instance, to El Centro and Community Action Agency, those were for $500,000 apiece. I understand where those may not be applicable at this time because of the $9 million we secured. But I think the other pandemic relief grants, whether they're for the Genesis House, the Blessing House, North Ridgeville Community Care, Licata, Second Harvest, the list goes on, should be restored because they're badly needed. So that'll be a forthcoming motion once we get an interpretation on Robert's rules, which I still believe I can bring up a motion from the floor. The other item I'd like to bring up during this time of the meeting is concern about a Children's Services Board member being removed, Mr. Martin Heberling, and I struggle with having to bring somebody's name up during a meeting, but it still continues to be my position that he cannot be removed from the Children's Services Board. Once a board member is seated, they can only be removed for good cause. I believe that's in compliance with ORC 5153.03. There's no good cause for his removal. He's a good man, well respected in the community, a very strong educator, does a lot to help the kids in our community. And, I understand there's a meeting tonight, and I guess, he needs to know about, showing up for the meeting or not. So I'm very concerned about his removal because I don't think it's in compliance with Ohio Revised Code 5153.03. And that completes my report.
Okay, Mr. Petticord, if we are going to bring resolutions to the floor for consideration, I am understanding under Robert's Rules of Order that you need to actually bring that up as a resolution and have it placed on the agenda, and you need to have co-sponsorship, so to speak, when you're a three-person body. Is that true?
I will prepare a report for you both. I'm looking right now at the Robert's Rules online, particularly the section about the reports and the reading of reports. I will say right now that what I'm reading says that during the section about reports, you're supposed to present the report and then provide it to the chair, and then the chair makes a disposition of the report. I will look at it more thoroughly since obviously it's an area that the commissioners disagree on, and by next week I will have an answer for you as to what my opinion is on when it's appropriate to bring up motions. That's the best I can do for you at this time.
Okay, moving
Oh,
on to my report.
If that
Concluded your report, Mr.
well,
Lundy.
hang on, I'm not finished. If
You concluded
that
it, though.
has,
You
if that,
concluded your report.
if that is the case, then you're telling me, Counselor, that no one can ever bring a motion up on this floor for any activity whatsoever.
That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I am reading online right now what Robert's Rule says about reports, and that's it. I said that since it's a point of contention between the commissioners, and obviously the two of you disagree about it, I will go back and do my job and look at it and read the rules thoroughly, and then I will be able to provide the answer to you, or at least my interpretation of what the rules say.
Okay. Well, I should be able to bring it up at any point during a meeting.
I understand your point.
I don't want it
have a
just to be
definitive answer.
researched that it's during my report. It should be able to be brought up at any time during a meeting. An amendment, or not an amendment, a motion.
Mr. Petticord, we may have to revisit redoing the agenda then, since there seems to be some consternation here on this issue.
My personal advice is that we should take if this is going to be an issue, we should give me a couple of days to take a good, sober look at it. I'll give you my read on what the rules require, and then the commissioners can make a decision about how to proceed, in an appropriate format.
I appreciate your thought and research in the matter. Thank you. Now I'll move on to my report. Today we'll be waiving the reading of the board correspondence due to a lengthy executive session we have scheduled. I have 2 items to note to share with the board from the board correspondence. If you visit LoraineCountyChamber.com, you can register now for an exciting and upcoming free event, the State of the City Address with Mayor Frank Whitfield and Elyria Mayor Jack Bradley of the City of Lorain. This event will be held on Thursday, March 4th from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. So again, make sure you visit the Lorain County Chamber website and you can register for this event and view upcoming events on their schedule. This Thursday, February 18th at 7 p.m., there will be a Township Association meeting at the Lodge at New Russia Township. And then last week, we talked about the resolution for the veterans payments that were held back at the end of December for the veterans, and we were able to pull out of the CARES Act some that were not paid for the veterans and passed a resolution to get them paid. So just wanted to provide, for those who didn't see the post on Facebook and are watching today, some people don't do the social media. So just a synopsis, we have a history of providing our Veterans Commission with the funds they need that provide critical services for them in Lorain County. A few of the things they provide is to help veterans get to medical appointments such as dialysis, heart procedures, and routine care. They employ several drivers who provide rides and stay with them while they are at their appointments. The Veterans Commission provides transportation, financial assistance, housing assistance, grocery voucher assistance, and gasoline voucher assistance for veterans seeking employment. The Lorain County Veteran Service also has computers available for veterans to work on their resume and job placement assistance. The 3-year approved budget history of our Lorain County Veteran Service Commission is as follows. 2018, $2,503,700. 2019, $2,458,200. 2020, $2,583,200. For 2020, the veterans received a budget of the $2,583,200 and the additional $288,000 of CARES Act funds for a grand total of $2,871,200. In Lorain County, we have and will always take care of our veterans. That concludes my report. Commissioner Moore.
Thank you. Back when I was, it was just the opposite. I was the lone Republican with 2 Democrats. I do feel for Commissioner Lundy. I was in the same boat, and I would bring up resolutions from the floor in order to try to get support for some of my programs. So it'd be interesting to see our prosecutor and how he feels what can and cannot be done during a meeting. So I feel your pain. Racial inequities. I've talked to one of the members. There's 6 groups in that form that. For $50 each, they could actually, if the mission is strong and the support is strong, they can form a 501c3 and they may continue as a non-profit organization for less than $350. The Blessing House, who did not receive their $150,000 request, immediately they were filed an application and they got their $150,000 through solid waste for their capital improvement project. Others, I was on a phone call in regards to the nonprofit money within days and explained to them the financial situation. They understood. The children's services removal, that was an error, and that is going to be corrected in the personnel summary sheet. So the gentleman will be attending his meeting tonight. So making motions from the floor, it'll be interesting to see what the prosecutor has to say about that. I've done it in the past, so I can't. That's why you saw me sitting here quiet. So I want to talk a little bit of what's been going on here. The Port Authority has been in our meetings the last couple of weeks. I'm excited to report that the Lorraine County Port Authority has been returned to its original intent when I put it in place in 2001. The port, the board, and its director has been upgraded as a true economic tool. The director is currently reaching out to private and public sectors, promoting Lorraine County in our business-friendly administration. The port has put the properties that they own on a fast track to get them back into private ownership, which would be generating more property taxes for our local communities. We are breaking down these past barriers and roadblocks to create new smart growth opportunities for county-wide development. However, that's a big however. I have a file here that I'm going to be talking about. In the past, the Lorraine County Port Authority was being used more as a political tool, and kind of bear with me as I share the facts and how this was done. The previous Port Authority Secretary, Jackie Lewicki, was employed March of 2018 to June of 19. The state of Ohio conducted an audit of the Port Authority and found not only while employed did she never pay for her portion of the county health insurance, but also that she continued to receive her salary after she ended her employment with the port. All this came out of the November 5th, 2020 report, which was the day after the election. As of January 7th of this year, that debt is still owed and is currently in Elyria Municipal Court for a demand of $5,200. With all this happening, former Commissioner Suida hired Jackie Lewicki from March of 2020 to December of 2020 as her campaign treasurer, being paid for through her campaign account. Now, these payments were proper, even though Jackie still owes the Lorain County Port Authority over $5,000. And Jackie was rewarded even as the taxpayers are still owed money. This shows a poor lack of judgment, at least on Suida's part. Now, the next former port employee is a bit more disturbing. Corey Shaver was the former Commissioner Suida's campaign manager. The port had 3 full-time employees, a director, a project manager, and a secretary. Corey was the Lorain County Port Authority project manager. Now, he was laid off. He was laid off in March of 2020, but was brought back to work in November of 2020. Less than a month later, he will resign, but I will come back to that. So as we all know now, when on state unemployment, the feds paid even more money to those who are experiencing loss of income during the pandemic. Suida's campaign manager received the following while laid off: city council pay, state unemployment insurance, federal unemployment insurance. In addition, Suida's campaign paid him $5,500, and he received county health care benefits that the taxpayers funded at a cost of over $5,600 while laid off the Port Authority. You saw we did talk about COBRA, but you notice I'm not mentioning it here.
Can I ask
Now
you
to
a
add,
quick-
but I am done, sir. Now to add more insult to injury, I now come back to Mr. Shaver's resignation after he
Love
was
the
called
gavel,
back
by
to
the way.
work.
Love the
On
gavel.
December 17th, he submitted his resignation. On December 18th, he received hazard pay of $2,500, the same amount that our 911 operators were receiving when they were working 12 to 14-hour days during the pandemic. Now, going forward, the Port Authority will be used properly as an economic tool for the betterment of the whole county. Now, I'm moving on now. As we start tracking this, I started going through paper after paper trail, and we found a few emails. Now, with this, we soon start finding out that over 130,000 emails were deleted and computers wiped, cleaned, and destroyed. It now appears that Suida was not only using county employees and former employees, but also the county's computer system to campaign. I have emails right here. I have emails that discusses on county computers, on county time, from February to October discussing campaign donations, sign location solicitations, get out the vote programs, tracking employees' social media accounts in an effort to silence county employees who posted critical comments on her social media. She was using county assets to run her campaign. It's all here. Now, it calls into question and raises concerns on whether she should even serve on the Board of Elections. This is a key position whose job is to ensure fair elections. Now, this is the email. This is the last document. This is an email after the election between two of the highest ranking county officials, former County Commissioner Suida and the former county administrator, discussing their anxiety about the reality and consequences of having just lost the election. And this is in her own words. And I'm going to quote, in her own words, "Hopefully we will rest better once we know where we all plan to land. At this point, I'm earnestly trying to resolve that so that the answer is not in jail." Is this the type of person the county wants overseeing our elections? This is the end of my report for this week. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I have a
Our next
legal-
item is
I have a
E,
legal
the clerk's
question.
report. Madam Clerk, please read
I have a
the
legal
report
question.
into the record.
I have a legal question.
You were not recognized by the chair.
I still have a legal
We're not.
question for Counselor. Should we
You
be
were not
discussing
recognized by
employees
the
or former
chair.
employees? It's one thing if it's an elected
Our next
official.
item
It's
is
another
E, the
thing if
clerk's
it's an
report.
employee, and I don't think
Madam Clerk, please
break
read
the
the
gavel if you
report
want.
into the record.
break it. if you
Madam
want.
Clerk.
I have nothing today.
Our next item is F, board correspondence. I move to waive the reading of the board correspondence due to a lengthy executive session we have scheduled. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yep.
Commissioner Lundy.
At this time, I move to adjourn into executive session to discuss personnel items, employment, and new hires and pending litigation. Do we need a second, Madam
Second.
Clerk? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yep.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye. I don't.
We're good.
Good?
Okay, we have returned from executive session and our meeting is back in session. I move to approve the personal summary sheet. Can I have a second?
Second?
Motion was made by Hung, seconded by Moore. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, meeting announcements. Madam Clerk,
Aye.
I did not write down the date next Wednesday. Do you have that?
I'm going to guess the 24th, but don't count me
24th,
on
yes, simple addition, isn't it?
According to
that. All
Apple,
right.
Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, February 24th at 9:30 a.m. Since there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned.